In every Disney story, there's a lesson to be learned. That lesson comes to life in Theater Under the Stars production of The Little Mermaid. Delphi Borich plays Ariel and Carla Woods plays Sebastian in the musical. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, we're going to talk a little bit about your background. Delphi, you were born in Tokyo, Japan, a military brat. I was a military brat, spent time in Japan as well. Studied at Shakespeare. Yeah, there you go. Studied at Shakespeare's Globe Theatre in London, which can be very traditional theater. But what you've been able to do is not necessarily traditional in terms of the roles you have. You've gotten to play some Disney princesses or princess, however you say that, right? But in the non-stereotypical casting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Some of the princes that you played, some of the roles you played.
Yeah, I've played Belle, I played Cinderella, and now Ariel.
Yeah,
Just taking them on.
Yeah, and so it's cool. And when you're casting on stage, you have that creative license.
Yeah, absolutely. That really is the best part of the job. Just kind of bringing a new life to these classic characters that everyone knows and loves.
Yeah, and Carla, you've been previously at Tuts in Mamma Mia, Mrs. Potts, and Beauty and the Beast. With The Little Mermaid, I would imagine what's really cool is that kids have been used to watching the movie, or they'll see the movie first, and then when they come in to see the musical, you're alive.
Yeah, and I feel like it's even one step further because they're like, wait, it's a woman playing Sebastian? So I think it takes them a second and then all of a sudden they're on board and I can feel the audience is right there with me and ready for the journey.
Yeah, and with that said, anybody who's thinking, well, we saw the movie, do we have to see the musical? Yes, you have to see the musical. It's a different level of experience. Live theater is a whole different level of experience.
Yeah, it's so different. And even when I went back to watch the movie and then think about the theatrical production, I'm like, wow, this is so different. It's just, it takes you, it just heightens everything. It takes it to the next level.
Yeah, it's a spectacle.
And anything that you see on stage in a situation like this, what we love about it is it's very entertaining, but at the end of the day, when someone leaves, they leave with a thought and a lesson. So Delphi, give us an idea of what The Little Mermaid, what the lesson was in that one.
Yeah, I mean, for me playing Ariel, not having a voice for a good portion of the show, I think it really comes down to, specifically for young girls everywhere, finding a woman's voice within you, even when you feel stifled in that way. And so that's really what I hope that, young audiences in particular can take away from the show.
Yeah, Carla, I mentioned the creative license. There are some other things that they'll see that are different on stage as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I don't want to give away too much, but there's a lot of spectacle happening with the projections that are happening on the stage that add just a creative energy that you would not have even see if you were watching the movie, and some surprises. So lots of surprises.
And it's just visually, it's just beautiful as well. As so much going on. Delphi, what got you interested in theater?
Oh man, I have to give all the credit to my father. From a very young age, he showed me a lot of old Hollywood movie musicals. And so I grew up loving those films and just trying to sing like, the greats like Katherine Grayson, Rosemary Clooney. Those are my idols from a very young age. So that really, my dad got me into it.
Yeah, and Carla, what about you?
Well, that's so funny because my mom was pretty much obsessed with musicals. She said when she was pregnant with me, she was listening to the Flower Drum song.
Really?
Yeah. And so she's just obsessed with musicals, and I just came out that way. And she was always showing me, things on, for some reason, Bye Bye Birdie stands out for me.
Absolutely.
She was always showing me those wonderful musicals and movies, and it just kind of stuck with me. Yeah. And, I've never left.
With that said, there are so many kids who are involved, and I was one of those kids that was in drama as well, that never intended to take it professionally. Why is it important, and what are some of the great lessons kids can learn by just being involved in theater, again, even if they're not going to do it later, but to be involved in it while they're in school?
That's a great question. I think first and foremost, the ability to communicate your emotions is, I think, so important. I think we can learn a lot, but also just in a basic sense, like when you're acting, you're just doing a back and forth with someone. And I think having that back and forth in life in general, the ability to think on your feet is so, so valuable.
And also just having the license to embrace your creativity and let yourself go there and be in a new world and create something with it, with other people. And when you're working with professionals, you can see how quickly we go into that other world. I think having that creative energy, taking it into any other industry that you're working in, it's just an asset. It's a beautiful asset.
Yeah, you talk about creativity and going into another world. For you, going into another world was you prepared to be a crab. How do you prepare to be a crab?
Look, when I got this role, I was like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? Tuts never let me have hands. So, because I didn't have hands as Mrs. Potts, and I don't have hands as a crab. And it's difficult when I get off stage. I'm like, get these things off of me. But learning how to express myself with just like this, and like hugging people and picking up things, and some other things that happen in the show. It's been a learning experience, but hey,
that's what's so cool about it, though. You're applying human qualities to animals and inanimate objects. And Delphi, I'm going to end with you. We know that one of your hobbies is beatboxing. Can you give us a little bit of something?
How do you know that?
Oh, we know things. You come to Houston, we find out things.
Carla's actually been rapping with me, so I'm gonna throw her in.
No,
I'll give you a little dubstep. That's my favorite to do.
All right.
I don't do that in the show.
I love it. I think we should have a show built around it. If you could do something like, with, ABBA, we could do something with the sounds of Delphi. All right, ladies, thank you so much, and can't wait to see it.
Okay, we to see it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Theater Under the Stars production of The Little Mermaid is at the Hobby Center now through Christmas Eve. For tickets and showtimes, visit greatdayhouston.com.